Well, here in the Valley, we are used to dining outdoors. It's a way of life for us most of the year, and that's the topic in today's Stone Creek Kitchen today. We've brought in Executive Chef Frank Belosic and Wine Specialist Dustin, both from the District American Kitchen and Wine Bar, for a little inspiration, summer inspiration. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
When we talk about summer dining, a lot of times we aren't necessarily rushing to be outside because it is warm, but there are times, like especially like today, there are those monsoonal nights that we want to get out there and enjoy dining outside. But whether it's outside or inside, we want the lighter fare. Our palates crave that. And you've come up with a couple really good ideas for kind of light bites.
Yeah, we really focused on the lightness. We got a little bit of hummus with some fresh veggies, tuna ceviche, and some bacon wrapped dates for the carnivores out there.
Okay. Of course, I'm a carnivore too, so I'm all over that. But then when we talk about that, the pairing component, because this is obviously entertaining season. So let's talk about how you look at each one of these sorts of, light bites and how you pair with that.
Well, when you're looking at wine, for myself personally, I got like a big red wine, but when it's 110 degrees outside, I tend to float something a little more with a little more citrus, a little more crisp. So, we've got some great Sauvignon Blancs, some great Rieslings to kind of pair with some stuff. Take the ceviche, for example, right here. It's got a lot of citrus in it, so it's going to pair well with the Sauvignon Blancs because you're going to get a lot of floral, a lot of citrus from the Sauvignon Blanc, versus something like the dates has kind of got a nice mix of sweet and savory because you got a little maple syrup, then you've got the pork in there as well, so it's going to pair with a nice Riesling that's kind of, the sweetness is going to play off each other. So have fun with it. Do something. If you don't like reds, then why are you going to pair a red with if that's what your preference? So
as we're trying to, let's say, have some people over and we're trying to think of a good balance, and we're trying to go, okay, what's the best balance for the light bites? What should we kind of keep in mind? Because I do notice that you've got something that's just really light. You're really going to be just enjoying the hummus, and then you've got a little bit of the protein with the fish, and then of course the dates.
Well, I've worked with a lot of wine sommeliers, and the one thing they say is drink what you like. And summer, though,
so does the wine come first of what you want to drink, or does the food come first?
Definitely what you like comes first.
Okay.
So you have to figure out what you like. If you don't like red wine, stay away from red wines. There's a match that you can really put it together. It really comes down to your own palate, your specific palate. The Rieslings are great. There's a little bit of sweetness to them, but there's still a crisp finish, which goes great with anything here.
Okay.
Sauvignon Blancs are a little bit more on the dry side, but you still get the refreshing citrus. Serve them really chilled if you like it. And that's another thing. People are like, how do do you chill it down real far, or do you keep it a little towards the warm side? And that's up to you. Whatever you prefer.
Well, my preference are the sweet treats. So walk me through what you've brought here with some of the sweet treats, and then Dustin, I'll turn to you as to how we find something that will really complement that really well.
So we have right here, this is our turtle sundae. So it has blondies, vanilla bean ice cream, chocolate caramel, candy pecans, and a turtle. We also have bananas Foster with a sablé, a crispy cookie, banana pudding, chocolate whipped cream, and dark chocolate pudding.
Okay.
And then in the front we have a strawberry whoopie pies, and then in the restaurant we serve this with a strawberry rhubarb milkshake.
Okay, so if we're not going the milkshake route, you could enjoy a dessert with wine, but what would you pair it with?
Absolutely. When you're looking at desserts, we've got a lot of options for dessert wines. You've got Moscatos. Ports are something that's really becoming popular again, so it's kind of a new market for ports. Any one of your sweet wines, a nice Riesling, because it's got that nice crispness and a little sweetness from the Riesling would go well. If you're looking at something chocolate is a very simple rule. The darker the chocolate, the darker the wine. The lighter the chocolate, the lighter the wine.
Oh, that's easy.
So it's a nice pairing, yeah.
Okay, and I want to go back to just a kind of a good, 4th of July is tomorrow. People might be enjoying some barbecuing, albeit it might be raining as well. We'll have to just wait and see. But if they want something light and fresh on the palate, what white wine would you recommend for them?
Like our chef was saying, it's whatever you like. If you like something that's kind of sweet, then you're probably going to gravitate toward a Riesling. But if your palate doesn't like sweet stuff, then you're going to go with something a little drier, like a Sauvignon Blanc or a nice Chardonnay.
What about the ones that are bubbly now? They're wines, but they've got the...
Well, you have some sparkly wine, and you've got some of the Moscatos and stuff are nice dessert wines as well. Yeah.
And so do we, I mean, does that determine how you should pair it with, if it has the sparkles, does it matter?
No, the sparkles, the bubbles really, I think it goes back to your preference. You know, if champagne or sparkling wine is not your preference, you know, I would recommend you stay away from it. But if it's something you like, then, you know, you can pair it with whatever you want. But don't be afraid to have fun and play with it. That's really the key, is don't be afraid.
Play with your food and play with your drinks.
Play with your drinks.
Okay, well, I'm going to have you guys stick around because you're going to show me how to make this fantastic ceviche in the best way and safest way to do it.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to talk about wine and water.
All right.
Super interested in that. I have not heard much about that, but that's what we have coming up just a little bit later in the show. We're back at the Stone Creek Kitchen with wine specialist at District American Kitchen and Wine Bar, Dustin Silks, and he's here sharing a unique program that they have over there. It's water pairing with your wine. You're going to have to kind of lay the groundwork because I'm frankly pretty confused, which isn't that difficult to do, but I'm already confused.
Well, you've got food pairing, you've got wine pairings. Now, why not toss in some water? Water is very unique because the water content, it's all about the mineral content in the water. So when you're tasting different wines and when you're comparing back and forth, you want something that's going to cleanse your palate and kind of give you a fresh start. So you want to start from square one every time. So you've got some great waters that, like I said, it's really, you know, how many times is the water filtered, you know, because it's going to change the pH balance of the wine, which is in turn going to change the flavor of the wine. So would
this be applicable whenever you have like a flight of wines, and so you've got like 4 different things, and you're cleansing the palate with the right kind of water? Is that what I'm understanding? So it's kind of, that's where you're pairing it in, is tying it in, is because it's going to really give you a fresh start with your palate. You're going to start over from square one. So you can taste this, the second wine. There's always going to be a little lingering effect from the previous wine, so this gives you a clean slate. Okay, so I can't get a clean slate with tap water? You can, but then you're going to have a different flavor, some of the flavor from the tap water, because the mineral content's going to be really off. That seems so unnormal, because, I mean, we've got such great water here in Arizona, you know? Not hard at all, very soft water. Not hard at all. So let's talk about this water in particular and why you like this one as we start to think about, you know, wine and different tasting. Will you open that for me so I can? Absolutely. I've got a little pop here. The great thing about Aqua Panna is it's a water that's well known around the world. It's served in almost every nice restaurant in the United States or in Europe. It's great because it's triple filtered, so it's going to give it a, you know, and they're going to add some minerals back into it to kind of give it a nice clean taste. That's not the way you're supposed to pour water, so I don't think it should be. It works perfectly. Just like Arizona tap water, right? It's good water. Yes. Is that weird to say that it's good water? Nice. It doesn't have any... It's the mineral content. The mineral content is really what changes the flavor of water. Yeah, there's one that's in a blue plastic bottle that, for whatever reason, I can taste the water. Yeah. And so when we can taste that water, we're tasting the minerals, and that's going to affect the way that we interpret the flavors of the wine. It's going to change the pH balance of the wine, and it's going to change the flavors of the wine. Now, would you do this only with a certain variety of wine? Would, you know, like cleansing the palate, or would you do it with, you know, if you're doing reds or you can do reds or white. It's just going to give you a nice flush is what it's going to do. So you can do it whether you're going to do reds or whites, or it's a great water just to have around the house as well, because like I said, it's just great flavored water. Tell me how you're doing this over at Sheraton Downtown. At the Sheraton Downtown, we've partnered with Wine Spectator with a wine program. So what we've done is we've went in and got Sheraton Select wines, and they've picked all these wines across the board. They're 85 or higher on Wine Spectator, and when you're looking at wines that are 85 or higher, they're going to be really great wines. Explain the rating to me, 85 or higher, because we were just even talking about Kim Crawford, and that's a new wine that I found that I love. You said, oh, well, that's a good one. That's a 91. Yes. It's on the cover of Wine Spectator. Yeah. So what does that mean? Well, Wine Spectator is a group of professionals that are in the wine industry, and they get together and they taste wines every year that a new vintage comes out, and they rate wines all the way up to, you know, 99 as being the highest, and anything really 85 above is great. Anything above 90 is really incredible. So if you're finding 90, 91 wines and you've got a great, incredible wine, the thing is the biggest misconception about wine is the more you pay, the better the wine. Yeah, that one that you just met, that I just mentioned, you said it was a 91. I think it's like on sale. It's like $13 or maybe $16. Biggest misconception with wine is that the higher the price, the higher the quality of wine. If you have questions, Google it, find out what the Wine Spectator rating is. Like I said, 85 or higher, you're really getting into a great wine. So as we go back to the Sheraton and the program that you have over there, especially in the summer, if we're out down for, you know, a ball game or whatever, we stop in and we can enjoy the variety of wines that you've kind of We've got a little pairing that you can come in from in the district or in the lobby bar of our the Sheraton Downtown, and you can try some wines. What we'll do is we'll do a little pairing
for $5, and you can compare. We talked about Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc. It's a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, and compare it to a Washington Sauvignon Blanc and see the difference in flavor profiles between the two.
And what will be the difference? Will it be the citrus? Well, why do we have that difference between a New Zealand and say a Washington or a Napa and a
So many
Washington?
things go into play. The climate, the soil, how the grape, you know, every vintage is different depending on the, like I said, what type of weather, you know, the amount of rain that they got for that year. It's all going to play into effect, but it's going to differ. Flavor profile is going to be a little more citrus. Now, there's really no citrus in grapes, so you're just kind of, it's a combination where wine makers get to play around and make these combinations.
So if we want to kind of venture off the beaten path, because, you know, you get so addicted to one sort of, and that's a bad choice of words, you get so accustomed to picking up the same bottle of wine. If you want to kind of venture out, would that wine rating be a good way to kind of maybe go, okay, well, I'll try this one because it already has a higher rating, and or what is the best way to?
Yeah, we talked about earlier, don't be afraid to have fun and play around. You can look online and find the wine rating. That's going to tell you if, you know, if it's a great wine or, you know, or a good wine. But feel free to go into the Sheraton or go into your local bar and find, you know, someone like myself, I'm passionate about wine. I love to talk about it. So if someone comes up and asks me questions about wine, you won't be able to shut me up. I'm going to talk all day long, and I'm going to tell you everything you want to know, and your head may be spinning when you walk out.
You know, that is a really good way, because then you're not buying 4 different bottles of wine. You go in, you talk to somebody that knows it, you tell them, you know, if I say, okay, I like light, I like a little bit of citrus, you go, okay, this one, this one, this one. Yeah. Here you go. Drink some water in between, and then you kind of, you're the gateway to us finding something else.
And absolutely, something like the social hour that we're doing is a great opportunity, because you may say, I like the Kim Crawford, and I may be able to give you a couple opportunities to try some stuff that's similar, maybe a little different, you know, and for $5, you're going to get to do some samples and compare a couple different wines, which is a great deal.
Done and done. I will be down there later later this weekend. Dustin, thank you so much. We love your passion for wine, and we love that we can kind of capitalize on your expertise in this area. A little bit later, we're going to have Chef Frank back in the kitchen sharing an all-American favorite just in time for the 4th of July holiday. Executive Chef Frank Belosic from District American Kitchen and Wine Bar joining us in our Stone Creek kitchen again, this time with something that I absolutely love. I don't know if a little birdie told you I loved it, and that's why we decided to make it.
That's why we did it. Winona told me.
Okay, well, good. Winona is my favorite over there. She makes the most amazing, delicious treats, pastries. I mean, she's an artist. It's amazing. But a little love for you in that this is a really delicious recipe. And what I like about it for 4th of July is that if you want something that's kind of lighter, you don't want to get bogged down with, you know, the traditional fare, this is still really good and fresh.
There's a couple of reasons. Number one, it is very light. You're going to be the hit of the party. People either love it or hate it, but there's a lot of people that love it.
I think most people do, even with the popularity of sushi.
Secondly, you don't have to turn on an oven.
Yes. So you had me at when I don't have to turn on the oven.
You don't have to turn on an oven.
Let's talk the basic ingredients and really the keys to making sure that it is the best.
Well, a key is to make sure you buy the best tuna. So you're going to go to your fishmonger. You're going to get the best tuna you can get.
And so what do I say? I go to him. I say I want the best tuna I can get?
I want grade A.
Grade A.
Grade A tuna. And he's going to. You tell him you're going to serve it raw.
Okay.
Or sushi style. So you would get the tuna.
And it'll come in like a steak kind of thing, right? Okay.
They'll usually cut it right off the loin, depending on how many people you're going to feed.
Okay.
The one thing is you want to mix everything at the last minute. So you want to have all this stuff ready. You bring it all with you, and you mix it at the last minute.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask how we transport, you know, and make sure. Okay.
Make sure you put it on ice. Like I have this on ice here. You want to make sure when you're serving it, you have it on a bowl of ice as well.
Okay.
So everything stays nice and cold, because number one, you don't want warm.
And then what are these ingredients that you're putting in? Let's layer some in.
This is what we do. We take the tuna here.
Okay.
It's very simple. So I dice the tuna. This is some jicama here.
Oh, I love the crunch of that.
Now you can make it a bigger dice, so it's the same size as this. The other thing that I don't have here that I like to add is avocado.
Oh yeah.
You take avocado, dice it up, put a little bit of lemon on it. You bring it and you mix this all at the end. That's a little radish, a little bit of chives, and go with what you like. Kind of with the wine, you know, this is a cilantro sea salt.
Oh,
so it's cilantro and sea, so we just a little bit of that, and we'll check for seasoning at the end. And then this is soy sauce, a couple drops of sesame oil, and ponzu.
Ponzu is the paste?
No, ponzu is it's a citrus. It's made from yuzu and a little rice vinegar. So it gives it Asian market will have it. Ponzu. Yeah. And if you don't have ponzu or you can't find it, use lemon juice.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the same citrus that
you'll get it's a different flavor, but
It works.
It works.
Okay.
Yes. So use what you have, and that's what's available, what's fresh. That's how I steer people. But avocados are great right now, so I would definitely want to use the avocado. Put that in. I mean, this is. You just bring all this together. You could have it all in separate containers. You mix it all together.
Yeah, I really like
so
the idea
simple.
of not being ordinary when you come,
You're going to blow people away with this. People are going to be asking for the recipe.
As long as we're just sticking it in ice and carrying
Make
it
sure
out,
you keep it cold.
Then we're
yes.
good. And,
you're good, yes.
we're not going, 10 hours.
Right. And if you are, put it in a cooler. It can hold in ice. I mean, it's very simple, just like you would.
I walked out of the grocery store the other day. I didn't even realize they actually, as you walk out, they sell these containers, and then like the dry ice is right there. I didn't even realize that. I
actually keep a cooler in my car in the summer.
Do you really?
So when I go to the market, I could just throw stuff in there, buy a bag of ice, and I'm
Thank goodness I only live 5 minutes away, so I don't really worry about it. If it melts,
I like to shop all over, go to farms and all.
Yeah, well, that's why your family probably enjoys your food a lot more than mine.
Yes.
Well, we want to just thank you and also Dustin for coming in to share with us a little bit of...
These are little tortilla chips, and you can just use a regular tortilla. We made them into strips. Gives it a little crunch, and then you can just top it with a little cilantro, sea salt.
And I love how you serve it on a cedar plank. If you got one of those laying around the house, then you're really a rock star. We're going to have the information on the District American Kitchen and Wine Bar on SonoraLiving.com. If you have not been out there, you should head down there, downtown. It is delicious food, really cool vibe, and of course now we know they've got great appetizers and delicious wine. We'll see you back here tomorrow.